Go ahead and get started. Okay. Today is Monday, August 5th, 2024, and welcome to the Gary Sanitary District meeting. Well, everyone please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have roll call to establish quorum.
Commissioner William Allen.
Present.
Commissioner Ola Morris.
Present.
Commissioner Maurice Mabont.
Present.
Commissioner Darnell Lyles.
Present.
Commissioner William Cook.
Present.
Attorney Nick Snow.
Present.
Interim Executive Director Brenda Scott Henry.
Present.
Finance Manager Jerome Foster.
Present.
And that's the end of roll call.
Thank you. With all present, we have a quorum. Next, we have certification. Pursuant to Indiana Law Section 5-14-1.5-6.1, I certify that prior to the start of today's meeting, there was an executive session that was held, and nothing was discussed in the executive session that was not indicated on the posted notice. That being said, in compliance with Indiana statutes, there were no final votes held during the session. Does any member dissent? Hearing none, moving on to minutes. 1.1, what is the pleasure of the board for the minutes?
Okay, Mr. Chair, I make a motion to accept the executive session regular meeting minutes of July 15, 2024.
The motion has been made. Is there a second?
I second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any comments, discussions? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Cook.
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles.
Yes.
Commissioner Mabont.
Yes.
Commissioner Morris.
Yes.
Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, the minutes have been approved. Moving on to new business, we have 2.1. Mr. Foster?
Thank you. I request to combine 2.1 and 2.2.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
Thank you.
Any board member have an issue with that? Okay. You're good, Jerome.
I make a recommendation to approve GSD payroll earnings for period ending June 17th in 2024 through June 30th, 2024, in the amount of $283,156.18. Also, a recommendation to approve GSD earnings for period ending July 1, 2024 through July 14, 2024, in amount of $349,035.40. And within your board package, we've outlined all of the variances that's there, and I'm open to any questions further.
There's been a recommendation for approval of payroll earnings, which is 2.1 and 2.2. Do we have a motion?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second for approval of 2.1 and 2.2. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Cook.
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles.
Yes.
Commissioner Mabont.
Yes.
Commissioner Morris.
Yes.
Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.1 and 2.2 have been approved for payroll earnings. Next on the agenda, we have 2.3.
For item 2.3, we have a motion to approve employee benefit services agreement between the Gary Sanitary District and the Hub International Midwest Limited, doing business as Meyer Glaros Insurance Group. We had our attorney to work with Meyer Glaros to complete the broker of record service agreement. It's in the package for your review. I would defer to Attorney Snow if you needed to add any additional comments for this agreement.
I do not have any additional comments at this point. I think that the agreement itself was back and forth between us and Myers Claros a couple of times. It's a little different than some of the other professional service agreements that we use just because of the dimensions of it and the way the commissions are paid and all that kind of stuff. But I think now that we have been able to work with them to be in communication with all of our current carriers in order to prevent any kind of a lapse, and they are, upon approval by the board, going to be in a position to start trying to negotiate some of these policies so that they're potentially more to the sanitary district's benefit. So, I mean, I think they've worked with us pretty well. I don't have any real overarching concerns about the contract itself.
Thank you.
I've got a couple questions for your attorney.
Sure.
Did they sign a conflict of interest form? Did you require that from them?
I did not ask them for a specific form for conflicts of interest. I would have to look at the draft of the contract itself to be able to tell you whether or not there's a provision in there to address that. I believe that typically we do include some of that language.
So we're going from, terms of termination, we're going from 30 days to 60 days with advance written notice?
Yes. I'm not looking at the contract in front of me just yet, but I'm trying to pull it up as we speak. I do believe this was a 60-day, thank you. I do believe this was a 60-day notice period. A lot of times we like 30. I think they started with 90, so we met in the middle.
Okay, well,
And the nature of the business, I mean, in this, I think.
well, here's the challenge I'm having. We put out the RFQ, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what did our RFQ say about the terms of termination? I mean, that wasn't negotiable, was it?
I don't think that I would say it was non-negotiable, no. I think we put a form, even in the, and you know, to ask about that, I'd have to go back and look at the RFP document, but I think even in the RFPs where we would include a sample contract, we would say that, you know, this is,
Yeah, but
we're expecting to do something substantially similar to this. I think that, you know, if there comes a point where you kind of have to weigh the benefits of the deal versus the things that you may have to give.
Well, the state requires 30-day notice just to be notified for change of broker of record. So why would we do a 60-day contract?
Because that was what Myers Claros requested, and I think we felt that was appropriate.
Is there any reason why they're not here today that we could question them on anything regarding the contract?
I do not know if
We
there's a
didn't,
specific reason why.
we didn't.
Beg your pardon?
We didn't extend an invitation for them to come. They were at the last meeting.
They were at the last meeting?
Yes.
And to
When
answer
we
your,
awarded the
sorry,
bid. Sorry. Just when we awarded the bid.
to answer your previous question as well, section 15, I think on page 6 of the contract speaks to prohibited contract, and the second paragraph of that section addresses conflicts of interest.
We're at page 6?
Page 6, section 15.
See right here.
16.
This paragraph here, the second paragraph
Okay.
right there.
Okay.
Any more questions or comments?
And one last thing, and I noticed on notification, premium or commission changes, will we get notifications when there's going to be change? Say, for example, on the commissions, number 2, you see where it said $35? Will we get prior notification if there's any increases in the commissions?
So, Mr. Mabon, one of the difference, when we, the staff had an opportunity to meet with Myers-Claro's team. And one of the differences that we have this time is that there are meetings, there are standard meetings that are established to let us know, to meet with us 6 months, mid-year, and then again,
that, but we're-
prior to.
I understand, but we're voting on a contract today.
Yeah, but this is the services that they render to us. It's like, if there's going to be any changes to their agreement, we will know when they submit those different options to us, and then we present it to the board for review. That's something that staff will look at prior to
Just allow
bringing
me
it to the board.
Allow me to say this. You said they were at the last meeting?
They were at the meeting when we awarded the.
Okay, when we awarded the bid, these questions, this wasn't available.
Okay.
For questions, so by them being here at the last, whatever meeting we awarded the contract, we basically didn't have this before us. So we didn't know
Right.
what the commission rates were going to be, and the questions that I'm asking, we didn't have, that wasn't a part of the package.
Yeah, and we should have invited them to the meeting.
Well, can you maybe re-invite them at some point in time?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Do we have any more comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, after hearing the overview and receiving the recommendation for item 2.3, what is the pleasure of the board?
Move, Mr. Chair.
Second. Okay, motion's been made and properly second for 2.3. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles?
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.3 has been approved. Moving on to 2.4.
2.4 is a motion to approve the acceptance of a state revolving loan fund from Indiana Finance Authority in the amount of $14.4 million to be used for the Gary Sanitary District Combined Sewer Overflow Reduction Projects. We have identified 4 projects. We submitted 4 applications to Indiana Finance Authority. I'm thinking this was done on April 1st. Highly encouraged by the regulators, Department of Justice, EPA, and IDEM, that we should apply for these funds so that we could start doing some capital improvements on major infrastructure within the sanitary district system. Those projects are 27th and Chase, the pumping station of Fourth Main, Phase 3, and it's estimated at $9.629 million. 27th and Chase Street Pumping Station System Improvement Projects estimated at $1,693,490. We have 27th and Chase Street Pumping Station Bar Screen Replacement Project estimated at $1,575,815. And then we have 15th and Clay Street Pumping Station Grid System Improvement Project, which is estimated at $1,335,000. $5 million of this, of the $14.4 million is considered a grant, meaning that we don't have to pay that back. We've asked Sender and our law attorney Harris to review the documents that we submitted to the Indiana Finance Authority. And we do understand that the $9.4 million that's available in the form of a low-interest loan will have to be approved. So there's an approval process that we have to go through, not only with the city, with our users, but also with our contract communities. And we've asked Eric Sender to be here today to just kind of explain how that process will work for us.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Just for purposes of the record, I'm Eric Sender with Sender Dalton Municipal Advisors. As Ms. Brenda Scott Henry said, of the $14.4 million of projects identified, the IFA has confirmed that that will be made available for their upcoming SRF fiscal year, which extends through the end of June of 2025. So that's kind of the deadline to close on this process, is the end of June 2025. But we've made it our internal goal to close by the end of May 2025. And likewise, as Ms. Scott Henry mentioned, the IFA has pretty much verbally confirmed that $5 million is going to be available as a forgivable bond anticipation note. And that's regardless of how much GSD ends up getting for a loan. So if GSD decides not to go for the full 9.4 and just do, $3 million or whatever, they'll still have the $5 million available as a grant. But I think right now GSD wants to pursue the full amount. But kind of the process includes opening bids with final designs for all projects, a financial due diligence report, and those both need to be done no later than 4 weeks prior to closing. So that's by the end of April 2025. Also, before closing on the grant and loan, GSD and the Common Council would need to approve a sewer rate increase or else look at renegotiating contracts with some kind of new rate structure in order to demonstrate sufficient revenue requirements on the amount of the loan. Other steps include a bond resolution approved by the GSD board, followed by Common Council approval on that bond resolution, scheduling closing dates with SRF, and then finally notice of awards to successful bidders and notice to proceed with the projects. Lastly, if I'm not mistaken, I think any action taken by the board today is more informal and elective. It's not a requirement by IFA, but I'm happy to answer any other questions that there are.
Correct. Today, we're just asking the board to do the acceptance of the $14.4 million.
A question for you. Maybe it's this pink jacket. I ain't ever wear it again. What about the loan repayment schedule? Because I haven't heard you touch on that.
Yeah, that would be done as part of the financial due diligence report prior to closing. And so we would probably be getting we'd probably wait for final designs on all the projects so that we have a better idea on the final amount. And we would prepare a loan schedule to be submitted as part of the financial due diligence report.
And you also said possible rate increase. Can you expound on that a little bit? Because I thought we were up against the wall as far as increasing rates.
That has been a position taken in the past, but in order to demonstrate sufficient revenue requirements for an additional loan, since you have existing debt, you would need to, like a lot of times when units do new projects like this and loan additional money, they have to increase rates. But if you don't increase rates on, residential customers, you'd have to make it up somehow, perhaps by renegotiating contracts with your contract customers or finding additional sources of revenue to cover the additional amount loaned.
So there's a good possibility the contract communities will pay for this, so to speak.
I believe that there's an intention to perform a cost of service study, which will look at, what contract customers actually should pay. And, since the current contracts are pretty old, and that cost of service study could extend to residential customers, but I don't know much more details about that process or where it's currently at.
And so when you show 4850 as the average residential user bill, is that inclusive of garbage?
I'm not sure. I don't have that number.
Okay.
I don't know what it's.
It's on line 13.
So by the time we get to that phase of the project, we will have additional information for you, for all board members to review. But right now, we're just saying, do you want us to move forward with accepting the $14.4 million to be made available to the sanitary district to do these projects? No guarantee, we just need acceptance of the money. So as we move forward, you'll get additional details on how we do that. Definitely, we know we need to go to the satellite communities or the contract communities to renegotiate these contracts. Actually, it's a requirement that DOJ is asking us to do, so. But as we move forward in working with the Department of Justice, we complete the cost of service study, then we'll have better information to you as to how we move forward with these projects, the financing for these projects. But this the $9.4 million that will be made available to us is one of the options. There's just some requirements that goes along with accepting, with using a loan product. There's some additional requirements that things that we need to do as the district.
Question for you. So this is sort of like we borrow the money we need up to the 14 million, right? So when you initially look at the program, the state doesn't say what the potential interest rates would be?
They have given us an estimated interest rate of 2.12% on the amount loaned.
And how long will that rate be available? 2 point whatever?
I believe through the end of their fiscal year, which is, it started in July and it goes through the end of next June of 2025.
But the repayment period is 20 years, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to stay on interest rate for a moment. That 2.1, do they say what the term is on the repayment of what we borrow from the revolving fund?
What, the amount of time?
Yeah.
It's 20 years, I believe, yeah.
So is that 2.1 fixed for 20 years?
Yeah, I believe it is. I think that's part of the SRF
And we could
program.
ask
yeah.
for forgiveness of the interest rate.
At
And then
2.1,
just repay the funds.
That's a
back.
great deal. You ain't never
you
gonna see the
prepay it.
interest rate again.
You say, could we prepay it?
We can ask them to forgive us of the interest rate.
If you prepay?
No. No.
It just sounds like a great deal to me.
It's the best of money that we will be able to get in terms of loans. Yeah.
I'll take $1 million and give you 5%.
Well, it sounds good if we have the ability to pay or meet whatever the payment schedule is on the money.
Well, we won't go into debt unless we can, but we just need to say that we have these fund resources available to Sanitary District. And actually, it was highly encouraged by the Department of Justice, EPA, and IDEM that we apply for these funds, and they're getting us ready to apply for another round. So they are really serious about us moving forward with the long-term control plan, reducing our CSOs to under 6 a year. They're really serious about this, and we've kicked the can down the road for many decades. And now is the time for us to start implementing projects that will get us to that point of reducing our CSOs.
And you're going to come back and tell us the ratio to debt, right, at some point?
Yeah.
This would be cheaper than doing bonds, wouldn't it?
Depending on the type of bond, but yeah, I mean, the SRF program has some of the lowest interest rates available for all the various options.
I think it would be, because it'd be.
Absolutely.
It'd be like.
Revenue or general GO.
Because it would probably be,
You're not gonna get an interest rate like this now?
no, because on the bond deal, it'd be 10 of you on the bond deal.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, after hearing the overview and the recommendation for 2.4, what is the pleasure of the board?
I move for
So
that.
move it. Second.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second for 2.4. Again, any comments, questions? Nothing? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles?
Yes.
Commissioner Maybach?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.4 has been approved. Moving on to item 2.5.
Item 2.5 is a motion to award a bid to Pyramid Equipment, Inc. for the purchase of a 2024 Mack Granite 64BR tandem. I know nothing about what all of this means, but a roll-off truck in the amount not to exceed $224,525. Staff pulled together some costs for purchasing a vehicle. Actually, I have to give credit to Reagan Hatcher, for introducing us to how we could how can we purchase vehicles at a very low cost. And so staff reached out to the state, and I want to make sure that I use the right terminology that the state offered. And what is that, Reagan? Is the Q something?
QPA.
Mingo did the letter, didn't he?
Where's the letter?
Mingo has a report in there about the truck.
Oh,
It's not the report.
oh, okay.
Right, it's already been approved, certainly.
By the state.
Approved already.
Yeah.
By the state, so we don't have to go through that whole process.
Of getting bids, you can just go to the state and they have a list of vehicles that are available.
They've already gone through the procurement process
Yes.
for local government.
And when the staff came to me initially with us needing this vehicle, and the price was around $450,000. And then Rwanda Anderson went back and kind of looked at some of the options that we had, and we saw one for $289,000, but then she looked again and she was able to find this 2024 Mack truck, which they prefer as a Mack truck. And then we came to the price of $224,525,000. And did he include the photos in here? But if you see the Headworks facility right here as you come into the plant, there's a dumpster there where there's a lot of debris that is coming off of the belt. Right? The hit from the belt, and that we have to properly dispose of this material. However, staff has been doing this manually. It's really unsafe for them to be exposed, as well as how they handle the material once they properly disposing of it. So this Mack truck will give us an opportunity to minimize some of the steps, help make it easier for us to dispose of the material, of the waste, by just allowing the roll-off box to be pulled up on the vehicle and then carried away. So Cola, you can give more of a detailed and technical overview of what we're trying to accomplish here.
Actually, I'm not going to go technical.
Okay, go.
I just want the board to know that we had one previously. The one we had is already old and decommissioned, so it's beyond repair. And then we've been trying in-house to do a makeshift just to make the process flow. But it's got to a point now that what we are doing is against OSHA regulations, and it's serious safety hazard. So we try to approach the city if we could be using their vehicle once in a while. We couldn't get that to happen because they also need it for their own services. So which come to the point that we need this. It's a critical equipment that we need here for plant process, and we also need it to transport grids and other waste materials from the satellite stations, like the pump stations. So it's an equipment that we really need to have. And I think highly recommending that we get this approved by the board.
That's what it's saying, 25. So I don't know. Cola, what year are we actually getting? I see 24 and I see 25.
25 is costing us almost $290,000.
So we're getting at 25.
We're buying 2024, but it's new, it's not old, it's not used.
There's a difference in price. There's
Yeah.
289, and on this agenda, you've got 224.
The 224 is the 2024 model, 2024 model of Mac.
Okay, but you're making a recommendation for a 2025.
No, we make a
The-
recommendation for 2024.
So on the motion, it says for the 2024 MAC at $224,525. Initially, we had this, actually at pre-board, we were still looking at the truck for $289,000. Staff just found this new, on August 2nd, we got a different quote for a lower price, and we decided to go with the
But do we
lower
have the
price.
specs on that one?
Yeah, the specifications are good. Staff looked at it. We had Lamingo look at it. Well, it's the same roll-off truck. But the specification for the 2024 Mac is on the page that says quotation, and it's from Pyramid Equipment.
Okay. There's just a little bit of confusion just because like with the recommendation, it states,
Yes.
to award the 2025 model, but what's being recommended is the 2024, with the 224, $525 amount, because that's cheaper than what was originally looked at.
Right. When we had pre-board, we were still looking at the 289,000. That was on the agenda.
Okay.
We adjusted the agenda because we found a vehicle that would do the same at a lower price, saving us an additional $40,000 or more.
I think, technically, the recommendation just needs to be corrected,
Yes,
and then I think that should be fine.
okay.
I guess after hearing the overview and the recommendation for 2.5, what is the pleasure of the board?
So moved, subject to the amendment of the recommendation.
A motion's been made, is there a second?
I second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Do we have any last comments, questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles?
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.5 has been approved. Moving on to 2.6.
Item 2.6 is a motion to approve and ratify the award of bid to Xylem's Water Solutions for emergency repair of pump number 1 at 27th and Chase Pumping Station in the amount not to exceed $79,497.95. In your packet, you will see the supporting documentation for the pump that needed repair or replacement, along with the condition of the initial pump in service. Cola, did you want to add anything else to it? It was an emergency repair for sure. 27th and Chase is one of the pumping station that we can't afford to have anything happen to it, so.
Yeah, 27 and Chase pump station is a major hub of GSD pump stations. I think we pump close to like 60 to 80 MGD to this plant. The pump, just needed a repair, and it was an emergency repair. So Xylem, the manufacturer of the pump, came to pull the pump, and then what they found was that they needed some major repairs, totaling the cost of almost $80,000, and that is what we have here now. So,
Cola, do we need to start looking at possibly private contracting out 27th and Chase Street pump station? Because I was just looking at some numbers the other day, over the last 5 years, we've spent a substantial amount of our budget over on 27th and Chase Street. I'm talking about the district's budget.
it's a station that, it's a mini station compared to the treatment plant. The only thing different between 27 inches and over here is because we process the wastewater. We do not do processing out in the satellite stations. Contracting it will not be a good idea, a way to go, because we have to maintain what we have. And it's part of our consent decree that we have to maintain all our facilities.
Well, I'm just looking at the loan applications and just the amount of work that we've done over there. And obviously, you said we're not charging back our contract communities proportionately to the amount of work we do over there. That's our
I think we do. I think we do charge our customer communities, depending on the areas of where the pump station is located. For the 27 inches, Maryville, I think pays part of the equipment cost. Jerome, if I'm wrong, because it serves Maryville and City of Gary. Now it's going to also be serving the Calumet Township.
You got any more questions?
No.
Okay, after hearing the overview and the recommendation for 2.6,
Move for passage.
Second.
motion's been made and properly second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles?
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.6 has been approved. Moving on to 2.7.
2.7 is a motion to award a bid to Garriott Construction for the removal of sediment and vegetation from the GSD outfall structure located at Alley 9 East. Maintenance required under the NEPID's permit and for the combined CSO operational plan. The amount is not to exceed $26,500. So this outfall is located on the Grand Calumet River. As a requirement under our permit, we're responsible for maintaining all of the vegetation and anything that obstructs the outfall or access to the outfall. This is more of a preventive maintenance approach that we're taking to this particular one, because when we went out there to do a visit, we saw that it was, there was a lot of debris trapped, and then the vegetation was really obstructing you from getting to the equipment, so we need to do maintenance. Let's see, what else did we do? We had, we received bids from two other contracting companies, Metz Sewer Plumbing and Pumping, and ACCI. Garriott Construction was the lowest bid at $26,500. It's a Gary-based business operating in, it's a Gary-based system, business, sorry.
I was surprised. It seemed like we sent notice to 13 companies and we only got 2 companies to bid.
3.
3? Yeah.
Well, we're told last meeting that Metz was no longer in business. And now Metz is on the bidders list.
I just assumed the new company kept his name.
Yeah, they sold.
They're using
No, last
various
time they-
names, doing business as various names.
Yeah, because last time the last bid we had opened, we were told that that particular company acquired Metz.
Yeah.
And so they did the bid opening under their company name, so I find it hard to believe they were utilizing 2 names to bid. You know, they're bidding under Met's name and they're bidding under the
LGS.
What's
Yeah.
the new name?
LGS, I think it is.
I thought it was.
I think another company bought bought Mets out.
That's
Yeah,
supposedly
but what's the name of
LGS.
that company, Cole, that bought Mets?
It was
The LGS.
Its initials.
Sure.
A brother from LGS went out on his own
LGS.
and bought Mets, and Mets Sewer renamed it Plumbing and Pumping, Mets Plumbing and Pumping.
So who's operating under Mets?
That's Adam Smith.
So according to the document on
Mets isn't out of
page 6,
business.
The company, no, they're back in business. An individual bought the company.
Sounds like a reverse acquisition, doesn't it?
I don't know, but it's several businesses under one name, it looked like, because they're in the documentation here on page 6, it identifies Adam Smith. It says the name is Met Sewer Plumbing and Pumping LLC, and they have their email address as mets.spp@yahoo.com.
If there are no further questions or comments, what is the pleasure of the board for 2.7?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
There's been a motion made and it's been second. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call please for 2.7.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.7 has been approved.
This is the same thing.
Moving on to 2.8.
2.8 is a motion to approve an award of bid to LGS Plumbing for the sanitary sewer replacement at the vicinity of 1122 Harrison Boulevard in an amount not to exceed $56,500. If you look in your packet, you'll see, you'll see that the engineering department prepared the specifications and solicited bids. It was sent out to 12 contractors, Area Plumbing, LGS, Alex Met Sewer, Grimmer Constructions, Gary Construction, AJ the Plumber, Gary Material, Calumet City, DNR Construction, Hansfield Plumbing, Hassey Construction, Our Plumbing. 2 contractors responded to the quotes. LGS quote for $56,500. It's a Crown Point-based business, and Gary Construction, there was no bid, Gary-based company. The engineering staff requested 2 quotes, requested for quotes 2 times for this location, and only 1 contractor submitted a quote. So our recommendation from staff is to approve a water bid to LSG Plumbing.
Is there any way we can find out how this company's actually operating, or can you, because they don't send their letters of incorporation as a part of the bid packet, but it's just reeking of confusion if you're looking at LGS and, you know, beg your pardon?
Yeah, I understand your point, Mr. Maybon, definitely, but they do have their licenses, they're licensed with the city as LGS, they also are licensed as METS. So all of the contractors that we deal with are, licensed with the city. We can only give you,
Sure.
yeah, but we do need to look into that, I agree, to get a better understanding.
After hearing the overview and recommendation for 2.8, what is the pleasure of the board?
Question, Mr. Chairman?
Okay.
So I'm looking at this list, I recognize many of the names, but we almost never get a bid from AJ Plumber. Number 8, Calumet City Plumbing, I don't recognize, I could be wrong. 9, DNR Construction, I don't think we've ever got anything from them. And then Ours Plumbing, are those newer companies that don't normally bid with us, or?
Eric?
The companies you mentioned, they're a smaller outfit, so they can't dig as deep, but they have come to our office requesting to receive these requests for quotes, so we always send them to them.
So that would include Calumet City Plumbing?
Calumet City, they're a bigger outfit, so I'm not too sure why they're not bidding.
Yeah, I don't remember them ever. DNR Construction, that's new.
Yeah, he requested to receive quotes.
And then Ours Plumbing, never heard of them.
Yeah, they do a lot of lateral repairs, but again, they don't have the capability of dig deeper than 8 feet or so.
So out of all the ones I just named, Mr. Tunk, only Ours Plumbing has worked with the district before?
Yeah, Calumet City has an AJ the plumber. Well, they usually do lateral repairs, so we give them tap permits to repair home laterals.
Got it.
But I don't believe, well, we've worked with Ours Plumbing in the past.
AJ Plumbing work for the city in the past, but after a while, I think he said he downsized and then started doing smaller jobs.
Okay, so Cola, what about Ours Plumbing? Have they ever worked with us before?
I don't know about Howard.
How about DNR Construction? I think I know who that is. Have they ever worked with us before?
I know he has come to my office, but probably,
Have they ever worked for us before?
no.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, what is the pleasure of the board for 2.8?
Move to pass.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.8 has been approved. Moving on to claims, 3.1, Mr. Foster?
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve and ratify GSD claim numbers 1843 through 2055 in the amount of $2,427,699.43.
Is there any questions for 3.1 or comment? Hearing none, what is the pleasure of the board for 3.1?
Move for passage.
Second. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, claims have been approved. Moving on to 3.2.
For item 3.2, we have GSD financial reporting for the period ending April 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2024. That is included in your package for review. If there are any questions that you have, I did ask Eric Sender to attend the meeting to respond to any questions that you may have. Other than this is for your information.
So we don't need to vote on it.
I don't think you need to vote, it's just a matter of record.
Okay. Do we have any comments or questions for 3.2?
Give me a minute, Mr. Chairman.
Pardon me?
I said, give me a minute.
Okay.
I got a question for Mr. Sender. Kind of looking at the claims, but I also noticed from looking at the financial report, it's as if we're going to be tracking a deficit this year.
I don't see GSD tracking a deficit so far. I see the general fund bringing in revenues over expenditures so far. And so on the summary report, which is page 17 of the report,
Okay.
that's showing net revenues over expenditures.
Okay. So you're going to have a different answer at the end of the year, right?
Well, I hope not.
Me too.
Senator, I have a question.
Yeah.
On the last page of your report, page 19,
Yep.
it shows ending balance for June 30, 2024, unknown, $453,093.13. What's that?
I'll ask Mr. Foster to take a look at that too. I think, so that's a category from GSD's billing system, and we've asked about that before, and I'm trying to remember what it is. Can you talk about that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, the way our system operates is if a person pays more money than what is owed, right, then it goes into a category of overtures. So that's what that unknown is because it can't classify. So example, if you owe your bill is $25, right, and you pay $30, right? So the $5 is what would go into the unknown.
So we got,
Might be.
So over time, that is eaten up as the person continues to collect or incur a bill.
So this is a multi-year amount, if I take your theory to be correct then, right?
Correct.
So how do we allocate this money? Is it just sitting somewhere or what?
Well, from an accounting perspective, it will sit directly into our books, and then also in our billing cycle, it will sit onto our books.
Can we spend it, I guess is my question.
so this is other people money?
Yes. That can get a little tricky.
Well, is
Because
it our money or is it not? Is it our money?
from an accounting perspective, is more like a prepayment, so therefore it would not be categorized as our money. They could ask for a refund. And Eric, correct me if I'm saying that incorrectly.
How much of this is?
As far as I know, yeah.
Right.
This could be going back 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, I think I think this category was new, starting with the new billing system, so it may only be, 5 years or so, 3 years, I don't know. Yeah.
But
Yes.
what Darnell is saying, if it's only 3 years, it could be 7 years also
Oh.
down the road.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Precisely.
So what is your suggestion to the district regarding what to do with this money?
Well, I'm not sure. I think I need some more information from Ross Tech on that specific category, because I'm not confident about, I want some better data on that number. But in general, for collections, the suggestion is to get back into filing liens with the county on sewer balances that are less than 3 years old, where there's a legal mechanism to collect by filing sewer liens on customers who have balances less than 3 years.
Our controller said this is money people paid extra on their bill. It had nothing to do with liens as far as I can.
Yeah, and that suggestion is more general. On the unknown amount, I don't have anything at this time because I need some more information on that number.
So if it's an accumulation of overpayments, right? And looking at the size of this number, I don't think people are overpaying their bills routinely at $100. This has to be going on for multiple years to be
Yeah,
almost half.
probably is. Yeah. Yeah.
So can you give the board a recommendation as to what is the most expedient way to deal with this under traditional accounting principles?
Well,
I'm not saying now.
yeah.
Go back, talk to the big boys.
Yeah, I will.
Let's know.
I'll give you a suggestion. We'll look into it.
No more questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments or questions? And since this is just for our information, this does not require a vote.
No, it doesn't require. No, it doesn't require a vote.
Okay.
You mean the financial report?
Okay, if there's no further questions or comments, we'll move on to information updates. We have 4.1 plant operations.
Okay, we start with the operations of the plant. I think we are operating the plant. We're operating the plant without violations so far. And we are also performing tests on chemicals to see how we can better improve on the performance and efficiency of these chemicals, and then at the same time to reduce cost, because we are being cost-driven. We'll be talking about money so far here now, and then we start to see how we can really make the plant to run more efficiently at a lower cost. And we are also, I think we are doing a really good job at put a lot of the processes back online in the plant. Specifically, we work on the tanks. We brought some tanks back on in service. We work in the filter building. You have a cell back in service. We're doing everything possible to just ensure that the plant is running and meeting our permit requirements, and then to be sure that most of the equipment are back online as well. So I think we have to commend the efforts of the maintenance staff and also the operators for their services, just to see to the improvement of our activities in the plant. And the collection department is doing a good job too. Just continuing with the sweeping in the streets. And then we're also answering to customer complaints as needed. And we are promptly attending to flooding issues as well, and then sewer repairs. We thank the board for the project that were awarded today. We have a kickoff meeting with Commonwealth, the engineer, our new engineer for the long-term control plan. The engineer is to prepare the long-term control plan, and then within kind of like 6 months timeline to get the job done. So we have a kickoff meeting sometimes last month to get to get the work started. We also, I think I will have to defer this to Brenda with FEMA brick funding for some projects that we are working on. Brenda, if you can really help me out on that one.
Yes. So in October of last year, we applied for FEMA Brick put out an RFP, request for proposals from communities nationwide. We didn't think we were in a position to go after the funding for capital improvement, so we opt to go with the technical assistance. The technical assistance will allow us to prepare ourselves for an application, which we're looking for this October to apply for. Actually, we had our kickoff meeting with FEMA last week, and they indicated to us that when communities like Gary go through this technical assistance process, it better positions us for award, and there are additional points that you get on your application for going through the technical assistance program. These services will be available to the city of Gary, not just the sanitary district, but to the city of Gary over 3 years. And they will also help us with hazard mitigation, positioning ourselves for funding under the hazard mitigation grant program that they offer. So when we have natural disasters in our community, if we have a current hazard mitigation plan in place, we are positioned we have a protocol in place to receive those FEMA dollars for our residents faster than those communities that do not have a hazard mitigation plan in place. So our goal is to definitely capitalize on that opportunity. And then what this technical assistance will do for the sanitary district is we have COLA and I and Moonshot is another organization that provided us technical assistance. We came up with over $400 million of CSO reduction projects that include in the plant and outside of the plant. They're going to walk us through that list of projects, and then we begin to prioritize which projects we should go after first. Of course, we know that according to our regulators, those are for this plant expansion project that would get us to the 180 MGD, but we also have an opportunity to do some infrastructure improvements out in the community so that we can start fixing addressing infiltration and infiltration. Yes, I. So we plan to take full advantage of this. I mentioned in cabinet meeting this morning that we would love to have a team assembled of not just our team, which we're dealing with the CSO reduction, but also a team that's part of the emergency preparedness plan team so that we can capitalize on this funding opportunity. But for GSD, it'll help us to prioritize projects, apply for grant funding, so we won't have to go after loans. But we are going to need quite a significant amount of money to get the plan up to speed and to meet the requirements of the long-term control plan. So we hope this is a long-term relationship that we build with FEMA in order to acquire as much funding as we possibly can.
That's all I have.
Question for you. I'm looking here. We've had a digester that's been offline, out of service for more than a decade.
More than 20, more than a decade.
You also had those primary tanks that have been down for a significant amount of time too. So kudos to COLA, the engineering department, for a lot of this work that we did in-house to reduce our costs, so we didn't have to pay consultants to put these plans and repairs in place for us, but we were under COLA's leadership, we were able to do these things.
So this digester that's been down for a decade, is it up now?
You still have we have a way to go.
So we're working on it.
Yep.
Okay.
But we think that, we talked to the regulators about it on Friday. How much time you think we need to get all
Yeah,
this done?
kind of categorized, bringing them online in stages. You know, we brought some back online, and then by December, probably we have like almost 75% back online.
So this will make us more efficient once this one comes back online.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Another question while you're up there. I noticed last board meeting, we had a decrease, and I don't know, one of the vendors decreased the price of some chemicals. Does this circumvent the bid process? Because we used to have bid openings for this board for all our chemicals, and we haven't had that in over a year.
No, it did not, because the contract was awarded last year, and it's renewable over the remaining 2 years. So, but I was contemplating going for RFP, but they said they're going to reduce their costs. So it's not circumventing. I think it's a cost reduction for the district.
But the cost reduction came prior to what? contract expiring, or?
No, prior to, no, they just told us they're going to reduce the price. They don't even know what we're trying to
So
do
they just
in-house.
reduced the price?
Yes,
Within the contract period.
yeah.
Within the current contract period.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions for plant operations?
Yeah, I got one more.
Okay.
We are probably going to be starting to receive some of this equipment that we approved a few weeks back. Do we have dedicated space for that? Or have we allocated some space at the facility for the potential garbage trucks? And Jerome, I think we have something that's going to be coming in soon? Piece of equipment? Are you?
Yeah, well, so one is coming in pretty soon. I think it says a roll-off truck.
That might be more of a recurring question.
I think Richard told me, yes, one is coming
When are
in.
the
right?
trucks coming in?
Yes, the grapple roll-off
Okay.
truck is going to be available for delivery on August 22nd. However,
I think we should mention that we are still going through the process with the financing company that will allow us to take possession and make our first payment in July of 2025. But the grapple truck is available. The other ones will become available as long as everything goes well financing, and me and Jerome have some stuff to talk about today. But as long as everything goes well, we'll have all trucks in by November 2024.
Do we have we dedicated some space for them?
No, we've discussed that, and what we're thinking right now, we have to put out an RFP for the tipping, the disposal of the garbage, and so that will be going out. At the same time, I think we're gonna put out 10-bay, for construction of a 10-bay, they're not garages, they're more like overhead.
Yeah.
And so we'll be putting out both of those, but we like here because here we have the security gate there, and nobody can just come in and out and mess with the trucks and all of that. So that's two of RFPs that will be coming from GSD for the truck. But here is the preferred location after looking at GPTC, 9th and Madison, and 11th and off of Grant Street.
Okay.
Here's the preferred location. But I just want we're making sure financing is going to work.
Okay.
That's where we are financing.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
Thank you.
You smiling. First time you smiled in a month.
Next we got construction activities.
Oh, yes.
Good morning, Board. I just wanted to say one thing before I started on the status of these projects at Commissioner Mabon. I am going to be looking to see if LGS Plumbing and Met's Plumbing and Pumping will actually be competing in future projects.
Okay.
So that you sparked my curiosity as well.
Yeah, because it looks like they're competing against each other.
But they need to be competing against each other.
Colluding.
Just, yeah, we got to keep our eyes on that.
That's a lawyer word, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, thank you.
But moving on with the major capital improvements projects underway, the grid improvement project, I got a call from the Army Corps of Engineers. They have negotiated 5 of the items. There's still 3 items that they're working on, their attorneys are working on with the contractor's attorney. Army Corps feels they don't have anything to stand on, so hopefully they can get that resolved and we can officially close out that project. The 27th Chase Street Pump Station Force Main Replacement Project. Currently, Grimmer Construction is on Chase Street. They were moving about 5 lengths of pipe at a time per day. They're now at shallower depths, so dewatering activities should no longer be needed. So that'll make their installation project more efficient and quicker. So they should be getting close to completing that project on schedule, which is August 22nd, I believe. Yes. So hopefully that project will be substantially completed by that date. For the 27th Chase Street bar screen replacement project, The contractor's on site the next 3 days. They'll be cleaning the bar screens, making sure that all the materials are off the bar screens so they can the startup and testing of them. That should begin Tuesday and Wednesday, and the plan is to get the employees trained on Thursday. So these bar screens are very close to be up and running, and I'm really anxious that everything goes well. And the last project is the Lake Street Improvements Project. Again, they're just working in the area between 3rd Avenue and Cypress. They're doing some hardscape on some asphalting, the road and the cycle track. And after the air show, they'll be moving north of Hemlock, going towards the beach.
Question on the cave-in, because we have 2 jobs on the cave-in. One goes back to 21, the other one goes back to 23. They both were awarded to Mets. Are you going to review those, or does that have to be rebid?
I'll talk to the Director of Engineering about that, and they'll probably have to get rebid.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have American Structure Point.
Good afternoon, Board. John Tucker, American Structure Point. Our only sanitary project, excuse me, is the 27th Chase project that Mr. Talk mentioned. I don't have any really further updates besides they are moving now that they, elevation of the pipes moved up, so they are moving at a quicker pace. But if there's any other questions on that, I can feel free to answer. That's all I have today.
Anyone have any comments or questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have discussion. Are there any items or topics any other members would like to discuss at this time?
Can I make an announcement about the contractors meeting?
Sure.
Okay, the Gary Sanitary District and the City of Gary is hosting an all-contractors meeting on Wednesday, August 7th at 2:30 PM here at GSD. Contractors are invited to learn about contracting opportunities, procurement processes, contractors licensing exam, union hall referrals, and city compliance policies. Please confirm, if you need additional information, you can reach out to Rachel Morgan Caesar at rachel@garysand.com. And you want?
Add one thing to this?
Yes, you
So
can.
this is an effort to get more contractors to work with the city, not just for GSD, but for redevelopment, community development, public works, and parks, because we have such a limited number of contractors. We see the same names continue to come up. A lot of that is because, especially on the city side, they were slow to pay, and so we're working on the way that we pay contractors over there. But we just want to not only reignite contractors that are around that can be doing some of the work, but also work with those who are trying to start to get work with the city of Gary that historically has not been able to. So we just encourage everybody to spread the word, get as many people here as possible. We'll have Mr. Floresdale Hawkins, who will talk about the building department and the licensing. We'll have someone from the Carpenters Union to discuss the availability of Gary residents for jobs, because we have our requirements. But please just spread the word, Wednesday at 2:30. Right here.
All right.
How long is the meeting from 2:30 to 4?
That's the thought. Hopefully it won't go that long. But this is also for current contractors, because we want to talk to them about our compliance regulations and policies. The mayor should be here, and someone from the city council should be present.
Okay.
Just please get the word out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, are there any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Skip those discussions.
No, we did discussion. I had to ask.
I had one thing, question regarding discussions. And I know we're going to be maintaining the same Cigna healthcare. Well, there's something that a lot of other companies that use Cigna, they take advantage of. They have what's called a healthy food allowance that they give to their employees. It could be upwards of $200 per quarter. And I really think with the significant savings that we're going to have, that we ought to look into that. So, and there's a lot, Humana does it. And matter of fact, you go to Cigna's website, they have it. And I just want to know, I mean, I don't know why it wasn't a part of our benefit package for employees, but hopefully you look into it, you can reach out to Cigna. And if there's a cost involved with money that we're saving from between vendors, we should be able to subsidize that. Okay.
Okay.
Did you know that?
If there's no other items to discuss and there's no request to speak, is there a motion for adjournment? Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
A second.
They can't even rate it,
Go ahead. Request to speak. Did you get the names?
No, sir, I didn't.
You might want to talk to Willette about it, or do you want to do it as stormwater?
You want to do the stormwater? They can do it.
Okay.
Stormwater or do it now?
You do stormwater.
It's up to you.
I don't have a problem with him coming up. Does anyone have a problem? Yeah, okay, you can come up to the podium.
What did you say? They offer like a people that are 65 and older.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Okay, my name is Mrs. Mary Okoro. I'm here with my husband. We are landlord in Gary, and the reason why we came is because we called the office, and they indicated that we are responsible for water bills that tenants left. So we didn't understand it, so they asked us to come to the board meeting to view express our concerns about that. So we are here to appeal to you all, to look at the situation and see if there's anything at all that we, the landlords or landlord, can do to be able to continue what we're doing. And it's not that we don't understand what's going on, that we should be responsible for what we do as business partners. However, we are here to appeal to you to see our own side as well.
And then
Thank
you said water bills or?
Water and sewer bills.
Okay. I mean, I guess at this point, we can just get your information and then we can connect with you after the meeting.
Okay,
Okay?
all right, thank you.
Okay. I think we already,
No, not yet. You gotta join.
okay.
This is for motion.
Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
All right. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the Stormwater Management District meeting.
Took all I had to bring it out today.
Okay, hello again. Today is Monday, August 5th, 2024, and welcome to the Gary Stormwater Management District meeting. Let's move on a roll call to establish a quorum.
Director William Allen.
Present.
Director Ola Morris.
Present.
Director Maurice Maybon.
Present.
Director Darnell Lyles.
Present.
Director William Cook.
Present.
Attorney Nick Snow.
Present.
Interim Executive Director Brenda Scott Henry.
Present.
Finance Manager Jerome Foster.
Present.
And that's the end of roll call.
Thank you. With all in attendance, we have a quorum. Certification pursuant to Indiana law, section 5-14-1.5-6.1. I certify that prior to the start of today's meeting, there was an executive session held and there was nothing discussed in the session that was not indicated on the posted notice. With that being said, in compliance with Indiana statutes, there were no final votes held during the session. Does any member dissent? Hearing none, we'll move on to minutes. We have the regular minutes of July 15th, 2024. What is the pleasure of the minutes?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to accept the Gary Stormwater Management District regular meeting minutes of July 15, 2024.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call?
Director Cook?
Yes.
Director Lyles?
Yes.
Director Mabon?
Yes.
Director Morris?
Yes.
Director Allen?
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, the minutes have been approved for July 15, 2024. Moving on to new business, we have 2.1 and 2.4, Mr. Foster?
2.2?
2.1 and 2.2?
Yes, thank you. I make a motion to approve and ratify GSWMD payroll earnings for period ending June 17, 2024 through June 30th, 2024, in the amount of $7,190.25. Also, please approve and ratify GSWMD payroll earnings for period ending July 1, 2024 through July 14, 2024, or in the amount of $7,190.25.
After hearing the overview and recommendations for 2.1 and 2.2, what is the pleasure of the board?
So move for approval, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call for 2.1 and 2.2, please.
Director Cook?
Yes.
Director Lyles?
Yes.
Director Mabon?
Yes.
Director Morris?
Yes.
Director Allen?
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.1 and 2.2 have been approved. Moving on to 2.3.
2.3 is a motion to approve an employee benefits services agreement with the Gary Stormwater Management District and Hub International Midwest Limited, doing business as Meyer and Glaros Insurance Group. This is the same coverage for GSD is also the same, the coverage for Gary Stormwater Management District, that we will have Myers and Glaros as our broker of record to seek insurance products for the organization. I recommend approval.
After hearing the overview and recommendation for 2.3, what is the pleasure of the board?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. Do we have any comments or questions on 2.3? Hearing none, roll call.
Director Cook?
Yes.
Director Lyles?
Yes.
Director Mabon?
Yes.
Director Morris?
Yes.
Director Allen?
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.3 has been approved. Moving on to 2.4.
2.4 is a motion to approve and award a bid to LGS Plumbing for the storm sewer replacement at the vicinity of 2247 Wisconsin Street in an amount not to exceed $62,270. The engineering department requested quotes for the storm sewer replacement at 2247 Wisconsin Street. The existing storm sewer have lost its structural integrity, causing a cave-in the driveway of 2247 Wisconsin Street, and also in the intersection of 22nd Place and Wisconsin Street, allowing for infiltration of sand and groundwater. The surface cave-ins are a vehicle and pedestrian hazards. Repairs are necessary. Staff prepared the specifications and solicited bid from 12 contractors. We had 2 contractors that responded to the request. However, only LGS submitted a quote in the amount of $62,270. It is recommended that the award for the combined sewer repair located at 2247 Wisconsin Street is awarded to LGS Plumbing in an amount not to exceed $62,270.
Director, is this an emergency?
Is this an emergency?
No, it's not considered emergency. It's a dedicated small storm sewer, even though it is, there's a cave-in in someone's driveway.
I guess going forward, what concerns me is when we only get one bid, you know, and,
Yeah, this project was bid several times too,
okay. What are your,
with different alternatives.
you have specs and estimates as to what you feel the job should cost?
Yeah, I think that's a little higher price because it's a concrete restoration of the driveway.
Is this in line with your estimates?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, I would think in the future, if it's not an emergency and we're only getting one bid, do you think we ought to reconsider submitting another bid or request?
I mean, they did twice.
Yeah, with alternates too, and this last time we bid, we just did it, the one stretch of pipe.
Okay. All right.
If there are no further questions or comments on 2.4, after hearing the overview and recommendation, what is the pleasure of the board?
Move for passage.
Is there a second?
Sure, just a second.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call, please.
Director Cook,
Yes.
Director Lyles,
Yes.
Director Maybon,
Yes.
Director Morris,
Yes.
Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.4 has been approved. Moving on to 2.5.
2.5 is a motion to rescind task order, a motion for approval that we rescind task order number 52 to the master service agreement between Geary Stormwater Management District and American Structure Point for engineering services related to US 20 Complete Street Enhancement Project in an amount not to exceed in an amount that was for $324,763.50. Let me see where I start with this project. So back in February, it was recommended to the board by American Structure Point to approve both this task order to provide construction and inspection services, construction monitoring and inspection services for the US 20 Complete Street project. At the same time, it was recommended that we approve the construction contract to Gary Material in amount of $3.2 million. And it was on the basis that we will receive the $3.6 million from Indiana Finance Authority to cover all costs. Well, when the Indiana Finance Authority awarded the grant, they made it very clear to us that they were only covering construction costs, no soft construction costs. And therefore, we only received $3.2 million, not enough funding to cover the $324,763.50. So we went back and forth a little bit, trying to determine how we would move forward with this, salvage this project to the best of our ability to continue moving forward. We determined that it would be best if engineering department would do the service in-house, saving us this saving us $324,000 that we didn't have. And so, that's what we resolved with. We did issue the notice to proceed to Gary Material to move forward with the project. We have a construction meeting pre-construction meeting scheduled for August 7th at noon to go over the details, but we, with all of the confusion that went on with this project and not getting the funding that we anticipated, we have salvaged the project, first of all, and that's a milestone. But in the, one of the things that we are recommending is that we rescind this task order that will allow, that would have allowed American Structure Point to provide the construction monitoring and inspection services during the construction project. So I recommend approval to rescind the task order.
Okay, after hearing the overview and the recommendation for 2.5, what is the pleasure of the board?
All right, I'm sorry. Were you saying something?
No, I was just going to approve it. Go ahead.
I guess the attorney represents the board, right? Do we?
Yeah, we talked to the attorney about it, and
Because I hate putting my signature on anything that's going to be rescinded, because it looks as if I didn't do my due diligence. You know, when I get this, and we're rescinding something that we previously approved, and it just, you know.
so I would just say that we awarded those to, the board, we recommended and the board approved those two items for this project, US 20 Complete Street project, on the basis that we will receive the $3.6 million to cover all costs. It was like Gary Stormwater Management District wouldn't have any costs associated with it. But that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case.
So Structure Point went out, did the work, submitted.
No, they haven't done any work.
They haven't done any work.
Okay.
So that's the good part, right? So.
Okay, well, who went out and measured the streets and decided what was going to be done?
So they did the design,
Okay,
we did the procurement process. It was that they would oversee the project being completed.
did we pay for the design?
We paid for the design. We have the grant money for the construction costs. We just do not have the additional funding, actually, for two things. One is the, for this task order, for them to perform the construction monitoring and inspection. And two, there was an additional cost of $192,000 to acquire property that we had included in here. When we talked to Indiana Finance Authority about it, they recommended that we get a loan. Well, I didn't think that taking out a loan was something that we should do when we were, informed that we would get the $3.6 million to cover all costs for this. So that means that Gary Stormwater Management District would have to come up with the additional monies in order to cover the loss.
Can I talk about this one?
Yeah, sure.
I always hear like one side of the story. This is a significant issue. There's no way I wouldn't have construction monitoring of a project this big. I just wouldn't do it. Unless I hear from Structure Point about what happened here, I'm not gonna vote for this. I'd rather have Structure Point stand at that podium and address what you said. And based on listening to both of you, I'm gonna make a decision. But right now, it's one-sided. I don't see how in the world a state agency tell us they're gonna give us 3.6, the engineers say, then you say all of a sudden it's 3.2. Somebody dropped the ball somewhere in there, right? So I'd like to know, what are the facts? I'm not gonna keep voting on limited information that you guys give me. I'm not gonna do
Okay,
it.
that's fair.
So I would ask that we postpone this.
Revisit?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is too more important of a project to put it inside in-house in engineering. They're not highway engineers.
So is there a motion to table 2.5?
I'll make a motion that we table until we get some additional information that Commissioner Lyles has requested.
Is there a second?
Second.
And I'm hoping that we can revisit it no later than the next board meeting.
Yep.
So you'll be in contact with, or will the attorneys be in contact with Structure Point?
I think that there's a couple of conversations that need to be had that are related on this project, and they do need to take place in that time frame. So yes, we will be in touch with the people at our end, and then we'll see what to do about correspondence with Structure Point. I believe there have been some conversations already, so I can't speak to too much of that because I wasn't party to it, but yes, we will be moving on it.
And keep the board abreast, please.
Yes.
And just to be clear, there were meetings in which not only was myself, Chris Murphy, at Structure Point, other members of Structure Point, Attorney Harris, and our board president was present.
So when we approved this, the assumption was that the state was going to allocate whatever the bid or the grant or whatever was going to allocate whatever the funds requested were.
Yeah, but based upon information that Indiana Finance Authority provided to us, that was never the truth. That wasn't the truth. So they never intended to cover those costs.
Well, I think that's where we're
I
going to
know.
go, because then
I know, but they need to come and say that.
Structure Point been working with us long before I got on the board. Now, all of a sudden, they get dishonest with us. That's why I want to hear both sides of it.
Yep.
And if you're right, then I'm going to say, give me that thing, I'm signing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a fair guy.
Okay.
Okay, motion was made and second to table 2.5. Roll call, please.
Could you restate the motion, please?
There was a motion to table 2.5.
Thank you.
Until we get additional information from Structure Point.
Should we try and revisit it next meeting?
That would be the goal. Roll call, please.
Director Cook?
Yes.
Director Lyles?
Yes.
Director Maybon?
Yes.
Director Morris?
No.
And Director Allen?
No.
So we have a vote of 3 ayes and 2 noes.
With 3 ayes and 2 noes, motion to table 2.5 has been approved. Moving on to claims. We have 3.1.
Thank you. Recommend a motion to approve and ratify GSW MD claim numbers 99 through 113, in the amount of $214,855.06. As you take a look at the claims list, you will see an outstanding item, which is item 105 for Grimmer Construction. That is actually will be paid out of ARPA funds. So this amount that's here is just to approve that the project was square, so I can forward this over to the controller's office to make the payment appropriately.
Mr. Foster, I see we're about these 596-gallon carts. What are those? Those recycled carts? Number 103 on the claims list.
Yes.
So those aren't supplied by Republic?
Come on, Minister of Finance, what's the story?
Mr. Foster, you with us?
I mean, the wheels are turning. I'm about to, let me look into this. And then let me, Because it's in the claims hopper.
There's no monitoring of what goes on the claim register?
Oh, yes, it's monitoring any of it. But before I give a statement, let me find out the facts.
Because if I can recall, last year we spent the same amount. We bought 500 recycle cards. So are we replacing them at 500 per, anytime we place the order, that's what we're placing? We're buying 500 at a time?
Yes, that I do know.
Okay. Beg your pardon?
Hold on that one.
Okay.
What's the first two? What's
So for the record, you gotta show that that item is removed from the claim.
amend the claims before it is.
Independence Day.
Tough shit.
So,
You need to make a motion, if you want to remove that, you need to make a motion to amend the claims report to delete item number, whatever line item it is.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to get a better explanation of item number 112, Tough Shed.
Yes, so the Tough Shed is our educational house that we purchased and we used in the parade. So we used to have one, and someone decided to use it for a shed to go on there.
Because you had it over there, right?
No, we used to put it in the parade. It was, the maintenance department kind of put it together. We had a solar company to come in and put solar roofs on it. And then we put the gutter system on there for rain barrels. And so it was a demonstration to show the products that we use, that we will use. It was this smart house kind of concept that we were selling. And it got used for something else and we replaced it.
What, and then who took it and used it for something else?
Somebody else, somebody did that.
I'm sorry,
Didn't we have some kind of house across from the gate?
What did you ask?
Is that the same one?
who took it?
That's the one.
and
So
Approved it.
the other director, another director, previous director.
So is that what's going to happen with this one?
No, sir. No, sir. This is our educational house that we will use not only for parade, but for events, for other things.
103.
But what we want to do is just promote more energy efficient, demonstrate our rain barrels. We even, I don't know if you attended the parade, but we had it in the parade, and we had our, promoted our rain barrel programs and native plants. So
Like this right here.
that's the concept.
All right, thank you much.
You're welcome.
So we're going to keep this one.
Yes, we're going to keep this one.
All right, hands off.
approve this, but
Right.
All right.
minus this.
Right.
Okay. Are there any more comments or questions?
Yeah, I'd like to know about items 99 and 100, Able Paper Fast Coffee. An explanation of what that is.
You said 99?
Yeah, the top.
99 is.
Oh, okay.
These are supplies that we use for community cleanup, so these are the trash pickupers, the little device that are used to pick up trash. That's item number 99. And the liners that we use, we give away trash, pollution prevention kits, or cleanup kits, we call them. And so we, for residents, block clubs, right now, Think Big is doing a lot of the cleanup throughout the city. So we provide them with the trash liners to do these cleanup. We also give them to any community group that would like to do pollution
Who
reduction.
would the contact person be for that?
Dolores Brown.
Okay.
So anyone that needs a cleanup kit, just reach out to us and we provide those.
All right.
I just have another question, and it's claims related also, because I heard some comments on the radio. Stormwater in the past would always, what is that called out there, Darnell, a boat dock or something like that?
Oh, the
People were complaining.
jet ski and boat launch on Lake Street, is that what you're talking about?
Right, people were complaining they couldn't get their boats and whatever into the water, and I know in the last couple of years, we would kind of I think we would bulldoze that out, or we would,
Yeah, it would be done by Memorial Day.
yeah.
Yeah,
Let me, I can address some of that as I am a park board member. We were paying in excess of $90,000 a summer for that cleaning, and it was decided that we weren't getting what we were paying for, and that there was an inability for people to do that. So I'm not sure, it's been closed, so I'm not sure what the issue is at this point in time. The boat dock and the boat launch was closed because of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's still closed.
yeah.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We
Yeah.
close it this year effective.
You can send a bulldozer from General Services
Yeah.
to move the sand.
Well,
I don't know where this 90,000 comes from.
Let me
And you're
also,
losing all the revenue for the parking, for the people coming from Illinois to put their jet skis and boats in.
We are
We're
the pro-
sending that money to Portage because we're not open.
we're aware that we are in the process of looking at acquiring these devices that you put your
It'll
jet
be
ski on.
Labor Day
and do
in
that.
less than 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's-
We know that. We do know that.
That's inexcusable, Mr. Parker. That's just my point as a
is there a
military
motion on the floor, Mr. President?
Pardon me?
Is there a motion on the floor?
No, not yet.
but in the past, Brenda, if you can recall, that was something that stormwater would do. We would bulldoze, we would run the bulldozer out there,
Okay,
yeah, occasionally, and did
That was a paid service though, because there were also issues about access to the beach. And we had looked at bringing in a dozer. The dozer that the city of Gary has is kaput, so to speak. And so they were unable to do it.
No excuse is a good excuse.
All right, let's just move on.
All right.
So is there, I guess, what's the pleasure of the board for claims 3.1?
So move.
Well, we have to do a motion to delete item 103 from the current claim register so that the record is clear that we're not voting on that today.
And it's just 103, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that a motion?
Yes.
Is there a second?
No second.
Roll call, please. For
Director-
3.1?
Director Cook,
Yes?
Director Lyles,
Yes.
Director Maybon,
Yes.
Director Morris,
Yeah.
Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 3.1 has been approved.
No, that's deletion of 103.
Oh,
So now you got to go back through.
Oh,
and
just to
approve it.
delete.
You got to now
Oh,
approve
okay.
it with the deletion.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there
So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve 3.1 as modified.
is there a second? Oh, what was that?
Oh, yeah, you got to subtract it.
$187,405.06.
87. Can I have that, Mr. again?
187-105-06.
So I'll modify my motion to move that we approve the claim register as modified with the new total of $187,105.06.
That should be voted on again.
Is there a second?
We got to ask for a motion now, I think. don't you?
He just made one.
I just made a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, second.
Any comments or questions on the modified motion? Hearing none, roll call?
Director Cook,
Yes.
Director Lyles,
Yes.
Director Maybon,
Yes.
Director Morris,
Yes.
Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, claims modified have been approved. Next, we have 3.2.
3.2 is the the quarterly financial report prepared by Sender and Dalton, and that's, information is a matter of record. No motion is needed for that item.
Can I make a comment on that? Can I make a comment?
Sure.
I want to thank Eric Sender for getting this report out on both. These reports are not due to Gateway until August 15th. And for him to get them out as fast as he did is great. And also kudos to the staff, in particular Steve Amos, who's downstairs, who we rarely see. You need to get all that information into RDS in order for Eric to will be able to produce this report for you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions on the report or comments? Okay, hearing none, moving on to information updates. We have MS4 updates.
What did Rachel go? Rachel. I'm not quite, so I just want to say that, I'm not certain if the ordinance is on the agenda for city council for the stormwater changes that we made, but city council will have their meeting this afternoon instead of on Tuesday. And if so, Attorney Monroe and myself will be present for the stormwater ordinance. I want to ask Rachel to come up and give an update on some events that are coming up this week that the Stormwater Management District is participating in. So would you, if they can hear you on the microphone.
Oh,
Here.
I'll go to the mic. Thank you. So tonight, not tonight, yeah, actually tonight, I believe the council meeting has been moved to tonight to accommodate the National Night Out. Kara, I don't know if you have the flyer, but if we can make sure we share it with all of our staff here. That's going to be tomorrow, excuse me, from 5 to 9 at the Railcat Stadium. So this is a national initiative where law enforcement, they select different dates around the country. They come out and fellowship and collaborate with the community. It's largely an anti-violence initiative, but so they'll be out with fun for kids and so forth. So make sure you share that with your families and your networks from 5 to 9 tomorrow. At the Railcat Stadium, food, music, haircuts. There are going to be displays, gun lock giveaways, and things that are more public safety oriented. So make sure you come out and share that information. And on Saturday, the City of Gary and partners are having a citywide Back to School Festival. The district is a partner in this initiative. As a matter of fact, we've been asked to provide snacks for volunteers during this event. So I've been working with Kara to get those over, but that's going to be a really big event. Also at the Railcat Stadium, that's from 8 to 1 on Saturday morning. That's August 10th. So lots of giveaways for school, uniforms, vouchers, trying to look at it holistically and all of the things that kids really need to go back to school. So make sure you share that with your networks and your grandkids and your community. And just to reiterate, the contractors meeting on Wednesday, do I have that right? Wednesday from 2:30 onward, hopefully not past 4, but this is a real opportunity to bring our contract community together and talk about all of the things Brenda said and really kind of map a path forward for this compliance space. So we're taking a holistic look at that in partnership with the city. So that's all that I have. Oh, also, I have one more thing. The Greater Gary Downtown Workshop. This is a partnership with the architecture department at Notre Dame. So that announcement came out a couple of weeks ago, whereby they're going to help design the downtown corridor. So there are going to be a couple of charrettes toward this end. I believe one, is it tonight? I should look. August 5th and August 9th. So that means this week is pretty much loaded every day, right? So there's a charrette tonight at 504 Broadway in the Sanitary building, and again on August 9th, and I believe the goal is to come back with some design concepts once these projects are completed. Thank you.
So for those individuals who say, you know, things are happening in the city and I didn't know anything about it, you got the information, please go down and participate. Share your ideas about what you would like to see downtown looking like, and especially if we have some architects who will kind of sketch that out. They will have breakout sessions, they'll have an overview. I will be one of the persons to do an overview of what we are looking at in terms of green infrastructure, stormwater management types of things, and then there are going to be other city departments that will do presentations. Then we'll break out into groups and have these discussions around things that people would like to see. I hope there's definitely opportunity for workforce development so that we can, you know, get our people in the city of Gary back to work and create opportunities in those design pieces that will employ citizens in the city of Gary. All right, so please participate. We'll make sure we get all of these items. We'll get all of these flyers out to you today.
Okay, and then just to kind of piggyback off of the back-to-school event this weekend, the city hired an engineering firm named Sam Schwartz to help the city acquire implementation funds to make vehicular roadways more safe. So there'll be a booth set up to gather input from the residents or those that inhabit the city, so that we can be in the running for $10 million of improvement funds throughout the city. So this can go towards repairing intersections, traffic signals, anywhere where we can eliminate fatalities that occur by vehicle.
I was looking for the flyer for the air show. Do you have that? No, it's not this weekend.
No, it's next weekend.
So we'll have.
Chicago show is this weekend.
The air show, I don't have the flyer, but we'll get that flyer out to the board members too. That's the 17th and the 18th of August. And of course, different venues for different things that you want to participate, parties, all that kind of stuff. And we'll get that flyer out to you as well.
Okay, if that concludes MS4 updates, we'll move on to American Structure Point.
Good afternoon, Directors. John Tucker, Structure Point. Provide an update on our Lake Street Drainage Improvement Project. A lot has happened since the last board meeting. We're probably about 95% complete with all the concrete work between 3rd and Hemlock. I have a few water valves that need to get adjusted to fill in some gaps. We did demo 3rd Avenue last week. The stone's been placed. Paving is scheduled for tomorrow and Wednesday. Our goal is to have the 3rd Street intersection open by the end of the week. And then they'll continue with the concrete work this week, grading behind sidewalks and placing some topsoil, and then possibly some asphalt work on the cycle track. The goal, as we all said, is we'll have Lake Street open from 3rd up to Hemlock. We widen out the approach at Hemlock with a stone to get 2 cars through there, but we'll have it open before the air show weekend. Try to pull back what barricades and traffic devices that we can. Other than that, and then after the air show, they will be set up to go north of Hemlock with continue the underground work. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Do we have any comments or questions? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have Robinson Engineering.
Good afternoon, Directors. Ron Smith with Robinson Engineering. Just a couple of updates this afternoon. The Lake Street Bridge number 243, there's just a couple of items to complete on that project. The sidewalk and the railing needs to be resealed, and we will be having a punch list walkthrough. We'll make sure that the staff here is notified and put that on your calendar so that way you're available and you can join us for the punch list walkthrough for the project. The City of Gary is doing a $3 million Community Crossings Matching Grant roadway improvement project. We had the pre-construction meeting here in this room last Wednesday at 1 PM. We did have staff from the district. They were here. Also, local contractors also attended. The bid opening is actually this Wednesday at 10 o'clock a.m. And soon after the award to the most responsible bidder, we will be having a pre-construction meeting after that. That's all I have this afternoon. I will entertain any questions that the directors may have.
Any questions, any comments?
I have none.
No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next brings us to discussion. Are there any topics that any of the directors would like to bring up at this point? Okay, hearing none. Are there any requests to speak? No, sir. Okay, is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. Meeting adjourned. Okay.